We have an MP who went to Parliament and within the matter of 8 years has been made a ranking member. Not just a ranking member of any other committee, but the Finance Committee of Ghana's Parliament. Let's welcome the Honorable Isaac Adongo Adoko. Ayazu. Honorable, you know your younger brother, the Deputy Communication Officer, was recently promoted to be one of the Deputy National Team Coordinators in charge of the Northern Sector. It is equally important to introduce him to the crowd. He is here, well dressed and well poised for the Navrongo program. Let's give him a hand. Ayazu. We are here because we are here to meet the man who has patience for the people of Ghana. We are here because we are here to meet the man who is somebody who has developed the beginning to the end, looking at the geographical location of Ghana. We are here to talk to the man who will soon be the President of the Republic of Ghana. Let's welcome His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Thank you very much. We are far behind time. At this point, we'd like to call on the constituency chairman to give us his brief statement. Chairman. Ya zawabu ya untenga wanzil kala yete tinad mabo kala yehe Bolga Traditional Council Nerowo tiri ti awa kala na titare to Honorable MP party nengar mabo to sorma bokala ka hato yehra pat la to mapua wadi ke bana wo nare yete mbo ya masaba za wabe tirar ke sol ngala bot la paya tisna dare to wala hataba kala trinala tiso His Excellency John Dramani Mahama tiso bit wa England wane to Ghana wa tingala tol nanga Ghana be tibozina datla ana sewa waken do kala yete inga menga nzele te la kulhe ya hetapa bolka solom puwa tirbana bolka central wa la de pupel mbora mazina dare tentol la nusi gayel yete azare Zinadar de la Damsaka Titmo Zikala wala inga wana Digi potira botaba Tibaha kuzawabe Yama potira lawalu asurupua Te Agole agwangle binge Mtimize zinadar watuma miti Yone kena Nalete Ayala azuo Mungalawa vuguye Mungala no ta bugui yar setre sita kala yete te sawa awado bila deke male la da pupel ngada te mal ko bora bolka sol puwa waze kala te mpozozo geke mpo nero mbokala gete so kala sampon potesero to tara obadla yehu suru puwa na te bagole binge gerke impotent puwa Tibako za wa tobi to ina wani te tingawa zinadare to oda sama te mila anseo la an te bolka yala la la song la tunenga. On behalf of the MP, the executives of Bolga Central constituency, and all branch executives gathered here, all protocol observed. I'm so happy today to host His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in my constituency to have an engagement with social groups, economic groups gathered here so that we can fine-tune our manifesto. I'm so delighted to say that at the end of the discussion, Bolga Central will have a very fair part of the national cake, so that when at the time we assume office next year, we will be sure that Bolga Center will not be left out in the development of Ghana. I stand here to welcome you and to wish this gathering a fruitful discussion. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman. Yakabo ya Chairman Lenupa. Oh. Chairman Martinaka ere Tepozo. Ayazu. Betaka ere geta ayeheka na geto. Ayazu. So now I'd like to call on our Member of Parliament, the ranking member on the Finance Committee of Ghana's Parliament, the Adongo who provides the Adongo bitters. Let's welcome Honorable Isaac Adongo. Ezu yazanwabe yazanyoro le toma mayete insodma na rumambo kala ya gafara te party ninga ruma yazanwabe ya gafara deke insoro azanwa anate badola jo Mahama twata sonka obotlate bazanwabe bagafara. Your Excellency, today is a very important day, because this is the day that you want to listen to the people of Bolga. This is the day that you want to know what bothers the people of Bolga, so that when you become president, inshallah, on the 7th of January 2025, you will not be in any doubt as to the level of interventions that you require to make the people of Ghana and the people of Bolga Central a happy people. Your Excellency already hinted to a number of issues that border the Upper East region. I know that we have interest groups that will present to you their perspective on what should become the Ghana we want to build. But Your Excellency, as your servant and as the Member of Parliament for Bolga Central, I have at first hand some complaints from my constituents and some of the things from the chiefs that they believe you need to take into account. I may assume that those may come up in the conversations, but it will be unfortunate if those are not articulated as part of the interest groups and the stakeholders that we have. So I would like to take this opportunity to for you to indulge me to mention just a few of them. Today I was very happy when at the House of Chiefs, without any prompting whatsoever, the Bolgatanga Airport was at the topmost priority for you. We want to emphasize it. Since this is a Bolgatanga Central program, we would want to emphasize once again that that project is very dear to us.
I am aware that as part of your 24-hour economy, you are seeking for ways for owners of domestic aircraft to have several routes so that they can fly 24 hours. Don't look further than the Bolgatanga airport, because it will fit very well into your program. The people of Bolga are also happy to thank you very much for the regional hospital that you developed for us. We know that your intention was to develop that hospital as a secondary treatment center where referrals will be sent to that hospital. Unfortunately, at the time we were developing that hospital, because we were struggling to get you land, you had to demolish our only municipal hospital in order to give a regional hospital that belongs to the entire Upper East. So as we speak, Bolga doesn't have a hospital. Bolgatanga doesn't have a hospital. And so for primary health care, which is supposed to be catered for by other municipal hospital, polyclinic, we still refer ourselves to the regional hospital. Your Excellency, we plead that when you become president, you will prioritize the building of a municipal hospital or a polyclinic for the people of Bolgatanga. Your Excellency, we know that when it comes to education, your track record is unmatched. You did a lot for us. You built the E-blocks. Our neighbors very close to us, our brothers in Zuarango, you gave them what? Our community in Sirgo are struggling to have a secondary school, and they themselves have shown the way by starting it on their own. Your Excellency, let's build that school for them. Because they have demonstrated their commitment to education and they have made the sacrifices to start a school, but we know that it is very expensive to build a school. We do hope that even if it is not an E-block, you will find resources to build the senior high school in Zuarungu. At the time when you were president, you knew that our people here are farmers. And you knew that in the dry season we find it difficult to work and that we sit under trees and wait for the rains to come. And I do recall that you went to the World Bank and the USAID to raise $150 million to rehabilitate the Via Dam and the Tono Dam. Your Excellency, I want to tell you today that your money was diverted by the MPP into planting for food and jobs, and we don't have the Via Dam reconstructed. Even though Via Dam is situated in Bongo, if you develop that facility, you'll be killing two birds with one stone. Because our people in here, Nyarka, Zare, and other places rely on that dam for dry season farming, and have been called upon many times to dredge that facility for them. It is my hope that you will find the resources to come back and redevelop the Via irrigation dam so that they can provide water for us but also assist us provide irrigation. Your Excellency, the youth here, in fact, you'll be surprised that 2 days ago I went to attend a funeral of one of our brothers, and when I decided to interact with the people and we sat down to refresh, it became a political rally. The youth were livid because they are unemployed. And I was asked several questions as to how we can provide jobs for these teeming youth. The MPP has been very greedy. The MPP has just selected just their people, and our people for the past 8 years have been unemployed because they do not have the card to access employment. Your Excellency, if we do not provide jobs for these youth, the political class is in danger of attack. It is a major security threat, and some time to come, we will not be able to enter our community. And like I said, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I felt it. I felt that this are young people who are ready and willing to work, but there are no opportunities for them to work. And as their member of parliament in opposition, I could only assure them that with Excellency John Dramani Mahama, they cannot come to my house and ask for the jobs. Your Excellency, this is a special appeal. I know that this cuts across the country. The numbers are staggering all over the country. The unemployment rate has exacerbated from 8% in your time to about 14%. And we do know that for most homes, most families in Bolgatanga Central, they are still waiting for the first generation of a graduate in the family. Most families do not even have one single graduate because they don't have the livelihood to take care of them. And I believe that if we provide jobs for these young people, the NDC will grow from strength to strength, and the MPP will never be able to come back to power. That is my special appreciation. And finally, I want to assure my people that even though the regional hospital is for the Upper East region, His Excellency made a promise this morning at the House of Chiefs that a lot of our young people are dying out of kidney diseases and do not have the facilities available for dialysis. He has promised to prioritize the establishment of a modern dialysis center at the regional hospital when he becomes president. Your Excellency, this is very, very important because I've had calls to engage your own younger brother Ibrahim Mahama to assist develop that facility, and he's since been in touch with the organizers and promised to fund it. I trust that he will do it, but if you do meet him, put in a word for the people of Upper East. Finally, you started a very important project in the Bolgatanga Central constituency. You started developing our town roads. We'll remember our people at that time were so excited that you were doing concrete, you were doing the asphaltic overlay. And in Soin, you developed all the town roads and the inner roads. You went all the way to portions of Tanzui, but the greater part of Bolgatanga Central remained untraveled. If you drive just a few meters from the main road, you cannot access the next community from Zare because the road is not made travel. It is my hope that when you become president, we will work with you and your team to develop the Bolgatanga Central town roads so that it will become a befitting regional capital, because our younger brothers in Wa who came recently and got independence in 1986 are not teasing us that they are better than us because they have better roads. I believe that my colleagues would add a few more, but today I just want to remind you that the NDC doesn't want to sit down with technocrats to develop a manifesto. We want a manifesto that will build Ghana, and that is why he is on a listening tour. Today is for you to tell him what he should put into his manifesto so that when he becomes president, he can hit the ground running. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Manu Pahe. Tepu Ozoe. With your kind permission, I acknowledge the presence of the Yikini chief, and I also acknowledge the presence of Naba Patrick Asalia, who is the president of the Bolgatanga Traditional Council, is here to also share his concerns. Ayazu. So where we have gotten to is your time. But before we do that, we have 15 groups in all. Please, we have another program. If you come out, we'll give you 2 minutes. You can't do more than 2 minutes. We beg you. So we'll start with the lecturers. After that, we will have the local council of churches, their rep. Please come forward. If you have to speak for the lecturer, just come forward. We have a rep from the local council of churches. We also have a rep from the Medical Doctors Association. We also take a rep from the CSOs and NGOs. We'll deal with these first four people. It should come up. The lecturers.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Reverend Benjamin Nso Atibila, the chairman for Bolgatanga Local Council of Churches. And when it comes to the local council, among the pastors, there are a lot of things we've actually taken notice of that we really want to beckon on the president to be or to come, so that when he comes into power 2025, he will consider these things for us. One of the first things I will talk about is why do we have the prisons in town and keep prisoners in town when we have farmlands, places where we can move them to farm for our schools, to feed our schools, and then also provide food, cheaper food for our society. And I think that leadership should consider it, so that when the president is voted to power, he can look at that, so that the prisoners are not just kept in town and fed using taxpayers' money to feed them, but they can also work to bring economic benefit to the nation. Thank you. I think my MP actually has mentioned most of the things we wrote down to just talking about the airport for the Upper East region, especially in Bolgatanga, and also want to beckon on His Excellency John Mahama that our region lack road connectivity. If one should move from here to Bongo and you don't pass the same route back, you wouldn't have another route coming back to Boga. And it's the same thing linking to the other district capitals. And I think that something should be done about it, just as my MP mentioned. And about health sector. Now we realize that the health insurance has collapsed. It's no more working. When our members go to the hospital, sometimes we the pastors have to even help them pay hospital bills. And it is becoming a burden on us. So we want to beckon on you to take note of it, so that the health insurance can be revived and then work again. We're also looking at equipping our hospitals in the various districts and the region, so that it will help health delivery. We also look at the conflict within our region. Your Excellency, Boko has become a hot spot that when we pray, we don't even know what to say again. Because anytime we pray, it cools down. In a short time, it becomes another trouble. And it has made a lot of people there, they are not able to go to church any longer. My friends and colleagues in Boku, when you call them, they don't know what to say. Children are dying. Women are being killed. Just because nothing is being done. We are begging you, once you take over, do something. I will beckon that within the next 100 days in power, do something about Boku, so that Upper East we can have peace. The spillover is too much for us here in Boga. And then lastly, I want to say, as a pastor, we have our brothers, the Muslims, whenever they want to go for Hajj, the government support them. When they come to the Christian faith, it is not so. Something should be done, so that when we want to also go to Israel for a tour, to visit Israel, something should be done for pastors, so that we can also benefit from it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Can we now have our lecturer friends from UTAC, TTAC, and CTAC? Thank you very much.
Thank you. All protocol observed. Then we've been given only 2 minutes, so I will just go straight to the point. Our first concern is improved conditions of service for staff of tertiary institutions. Secondly, framework policy and funding for digital infrastructure in higher education institutions. Then thirdly, irregular government subvention to tertiary institutions is a challenge. And so we want that when you get a note, you address that. And then lastly, infrastructural development in various tertiary institutions. We know that a free SHS policy is bringing out a lot of graduates. And so we will need the infrastructure, general infrastructure, hostel facilities, office space for staff, lecture halls to be addressed. I just want to use CKT UTAS as a case study. After the autonomy, or when the university was established, it's like we have been left on our own. Poor road network, inadequate hostel facilities, inadequate lecture halls, nothing. And so we hope and trust that when you come to power, you will do something about CKT UTAS, and not only CKT UTAS, Bolgatanga Technical University, and then we also have Boscos. I guess when you get there, they also bring out their issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think for the lecturer, they actually know how to summarize. Let's give them a hand. Yes, thank you, Dr. Oswell. We have a rep from the Medical Doctors Association, Dr. Zachariah Adams. In fact, he's holding a 3-page document. When I tried talking to him, he said, President Mahama must hear their concerns. So
yeah, thank you very much. Your Excellency, good afternoon and welcome to the Upper East region. Today I stand before you in the capacity of the Upper East Divisional Chair of the Ghana Medical Association and bring you greetings from the membership and the National Executive Council, which is the second highest decision-making body of the association. Thank you for the invitation, which I'm informed is to solicit views, ideas, and recommendations for the betterment of the healthcare system in Ghana. One of the issues of utmost importance today to the GMA is the welfare challenges faced by doctors in rural Ghana. While we celebrate their dedication, commitment, and health professionals, particularly doctors, it is crucial to recognize the unique challenges we encounter, especially in underserved rural areas such as the Upper East region. In the remote corners of Ghana, our healthcare heroes work tirelessly to provide medical care to communities that often lack basic resources such as schools, good roads, water, reliable electricity. However, our noble efforts are hindered by various welfare challenges. One of the most significant hurdles is the essential infrastructure challenges that are in the region. Let me mention that out of 15 districts, only 7 have district hospitals. Only 7 have district primary healthcare centers. And even with these, they lack essential equipment such as X-ray machines, ultrasound machines, chemistry, and hematology analyzers. The regional hospital has been the only secondary level facility and also has its challenges. It lacks functional infrastructure such as a plastic and burns unit, a dialysis unit, inadequate intensive care units, and with ventilators, and also lacks an orthopedic unit, just to mention a few. We also anticipate that the ongoing government health infrastructure projects will be completed. However, if this is not realized, we want the assurance that if your party wins power, the next government will continue all uncompleted ones, if any. I repeat, the next government, if you win power, will continue all uncompleted structures, if any. Another big concern is the shortage of support staff, other healthcare professionals, and doctors in particular. And this has led to the exacerbation of workload for doctors. We find ourselves grappling with overwhelming patient numbers, making it increasingly challenging to provide comprehensive and timely care. In such circumstances, burnouts become a real threat, affecting not only the well-being of doctors, but also the quality of healthcare delivery. The recommended doctor population ratio by the World Health Organization is about one doctor to 1,300. In Ghana, it stands at about 1 doctor to 6,000. In the Upper East, it stands at about 1 doctor to 24,000 population. And in some districts, it goes as much as 40,000 population. This is unacceptable. And we'll ask, why is this so? This is due to the financial strain on doctors, and this cannot be overlooked. In many cases, we contend with the meager salaries and insufficient incentives, which is not commensurate with the demanding nature of our responsibilities. This financial constraint not only affects our morale, but also makes it challenging to attract and retain skilled individuals in these underserved areas. The region currently has only 4 obstetricians, 3 surgeons, and 1 physician specialist. The region has no nephrologist, has no neurologist, has no endocrinologist, has no neurosurgeon. I can keep going on and on. There must be a deliberate policy to establish a rural incentive package for doctors and other scarce cadre of health professionals if we as a country want to bridge the health equity and accessibility gap and meet the SDG goals with regards to universal health coverage. The health of the doctor remains a nightmare that every day the association grapples with. Just 2 days ago, we lost a young man, a strong gynecologist. Last month, we lost another. When we need health care that is not covered by the National Health Insurance, doctors will have to bear the full cost of their treatment. Most have lost their lives because they have not been able to afford this. We are advocating and calling on you, if you win power, as part of our conditions of service, bear the full cost of health care that is not covered by the National Health Insurance. We call for increased investment in the rural healthcare infrastructure, better living conditions for doctors, and enhanced financial incentives to ensure dedicated and other health professionals can continue their vital work in meeting the aspirations and goals of the healthcare system in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll now hear from the NGOs and the CSOs. Mr. Bismarck Adongo Ayorko.
Thank you very much, Abdallah, for this fine opportunity. Your Excellency, in 2016, you tasked your humble servant, who is an international development guru, in the name of Charles Abure as CEO of Savannah Accelerated Development Authority. He reached out to every single person that matters in northern Ghana. The youth, women, persons with disabilities, technocrats, every single person that matters in northern Ghana's development. And together, we came up with a document, a very comprehensive development blueprint for northern Ghana, otherwise called Master Plan, Northern Ghana Development Master Plan. I have a copy here. Unfortunately, you did not stay in 2016 to implement this life-changing development plan. This plan has what it takes accelerate socio-economic development of northern Ghana for shared prosperity of this country. It will tell you how agriculture-led transformation will be able to improve the livelihoods of the poor and vulnerable in Ghana. It will tell you how we can revamp Kwaluku Tomato Factory. It will tell you how you can bring back the meat factory. It will tell you how you can bring back the rice mill. It can tell you a lot of things. Regrettably, you did not leave or stay in power in 2016 to implement this document. Our request number one is, if the good people of this country give you the mandate again, the first thing is to ensure that you implement this fine document. You may be wondering, with the broken Ghanaian economy, how we are going to get the money to do this. I have a suggestion for you. One, the government has misused, in my view, the Ghana's oil money. And my organization and other civil society organizations in northern Ghana, with support from Africa Center for Energy Policy, did a study on one village, one dam, around the 5 regions, and came to the conclusion that we have spent huge sums of the oil revenue on dry and non-functional dams. That is one source of resources you can use to implement this particular one. The second thing is that somebody once told us in this country that he was going to use proceeds from corruption to be able to prosecute the agenda of this country. For me, you and your team can get your team to enter into people's bedrooms and polytanks. There is a lot of money in people's bedrooms and polytanks. You can get it. If you don't get that, we will not fail you. Your Excellency, the other thing of great concern to us is that Institute of Social and Economic Research of University of Ghana in 2019 came out with a research finding that over 90% of graduates from our tertiary institutions do not get jobs. Over 90%. Only the 10% get jobs. And even the 10 that get, they have to queue to buy form. When we are applying for jobs, we don't do it that way. Why is it that when young people are looking for jobs, they have to buy a form? We want your first policy intervention to be free forms. Whether it is the security, it is whatever the young people are going to apply, there should be free forms. We don't want to buy forms to enter into fire service. We don't want forms to enter into security. That is what we have to say. Your Excellency, the last thing I will say is that my beautiful sister here said that she is a community worker and she has realized that people with elephantiasis, people with hydrocele, they are excluded in the LEAP program. She's making a humble appeal that you should try as much as possible in your policy making when the people of Ghana give you the mandate to ensure that this category of people are part of the LEAP beneficiaries. I will pause here. If my people have something, 1 minute, they can say.
Thank you, Mr. Bismarck. Can we now hear from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association? Okay.
Your Excellency, members of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association call you the man for help. They call you the man for help. The University of Ghana Medical Center, the banks, hospitals, together with primary health care, had an exponential growth under your care. They know when you come to power, you will do much for health. They are asking for few things from you. Every quarter, we lose 3 to 4 members due to motor accidents. And we are asking that we want free car waiver for nurses and midwives across the entire country. We are also asking Your Excellency that the market premium for nurses and midwives was determined in 2012. Since in 2012, it was defrozen and it has never had any increase. Now, what I am receiving today is the same thing my college in 2012 received as market premium. But you can imagine the bag of cement has had an exponential rise, and so our salaries were so. We are saying that it was frozen under your regime. We want you to defreeze it. Let it go in line with our salary. That anytime we have increase in salary, we have increase in market premium as well. Then we are also asking, most of our qualified nurses and midwives are seated at home. The numbers in the hospitals are not encouraging. We are only few. We are saying that, please, when you come to power, try to employ these our qualified members, nurses and midwives, who are seated at home without job. We are asking you to do this for us. Then we are also asking Your Excellency that the trainee nurses allowances, it has been restored, but it is not given on monthly basis. These are guys who on every time they are in the clinical site, they come to work, they are at the hospitals, and they don't get anything. We are asking that when you come to power, help us, help these our guys, so that their allowances will be given to them every month. Then we are also asking Your Excellency that the specialized training for nurses and midwives, the doctors had free specialized training. Nurses and midwives who are also at the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives are also asking for free specialized training. As we speak now, we pay at least 10,000 every year to specialize. Meanwhile, we are just coming to provide care for, the Ghanaian people. You are expanding hospitals, you are expanding equipment. It should go with increased specialized skills. And we are asking that nurses and midwives this time, if you come to power, God, we are asking God that if you come to power, you should give us free specialized training. Just like the doctors get it free, we also deserve it. Remember, we are the highest numbers in terms of healthcare. Our numbers, where others are not there, we are there. And we are asking you if you can do this for us. Secondly, at the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives, there are certain programs that are deliberately taken away because of political issues. Programs like public health, programs like women health. We are asking you that if you come to power, let's look at those programs because they can help us reduce the death rate. They can help us give better care to patients. And lastly, Mr. President, the incoming president, that is what we are asking from you. We're also asking one more thing, that the training for nurses and midwives, worldwide, it is agreed that patients get better care under highly educated nurses and midwives. Ghana is one of the countries that is still giving us certificate nurses. Enrolled nurses, diploma nurses. We want to say that when you come to power, the entry point for nurses should be at the level of degree, baccalaureate nursing. And that is what the worldwide is recommending. These people give better care as compared to others. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the Dressmakers Association. Tepere. Aha, tepoya. Tebenia me vola bazu hola puamea. But also at a small scale miners association Yawana. Smoke weavers association Yamawana. Assemblyman association Benela La Kalana.
Tepere. A speech from Ghana National Tailors and Dressmakers Association. Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the incoming president, God willing, in 2025. All protocols duly observed. West are not adequate to describe the joy and feel we have today. It gives us the joy and honor to be in your presence today. The Ghana National Tailors and Dressmakers Association are proud to boast that over 400 zones in the region. Each zone with a numerical strength of not less than 400 members in the zone. Without much ado, I would like to outline challenges faced by the Ghana National Tailors and Dressmakers Association. Lack of standardized machines, the machines that can make our work move faster. Industrial sewing machines, the machines that can equally make our work faster. Without those machines, it doesn't make our work faster. We have so many challenges due to these machines. Lack of overlock machines. Inadequate training workshop for more improvement. Just few to be mentioned. Your Excellency, the association would like to make a passionate appeal to the incoming president to consider the following when elected to power in 2025. God's willing. 1. Financial support through mass law. 2. Sewing of all government school uniforms in the region. 3. The decentralization of the sewing and security personnel uniforms. The Ghana National Tailors and Association has appealed to the government to enable us move our work faster. Thank you.
Depozo. To about to hear Association of Small Scale Miners. The Benjamin 2 minutes. 2 minutes. The Benjamin so vol labazo man. Dear Sugri, 7 watt but talk about what trouble is to pay it a woo. So vola zobala, I can woo Sasela. I is kita lebe for a yell seller. That's it. I can pocket to son seller, so you disagree.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. We are very grateful. Your Excellency, we welcome you to Upper East, and I represent the small-scale miners in the whole Upper East, or more specifically, Talensi District. Mr. President, though we are saying the President because we already believe that there is no way 2025 is not our own. 2025 is our own, but because you have not assumed office, we plead that when you come to power, Mr. President, we heard of community mining, which is happening in most of the districts, but in this region, Upper East region to be specific, we have not seen such happening. And when you talk about mining, the large-scale mines are all in Talensi District, and most of the point we can say Upper East as a whole. But when you get to the communities, we don't see the small-scale mining or the community mining taking place. This has made the thing difficult for all the communities or the indigents. They are now finding it difficult to pay school fees. Some are not even getting their daily bread. Mr. President, we are pleading that when you assume office in 2025, you do all your best and let the community mining come to effect. Because the large-scale mines we have about 2 large-scale mines in the Talensi District which are operating. But we also plead that when you come to power, you please make sure the people work, because we know that there are some chronic diseases that we are likely to experience as the large-scale miners are ongoing. And Mr. President, or Your Excellency in becoming, or Your Excellency already, we plead that when you get the power, please try and let them enforce the rules and regulations, or let them follow the law that will help us to stop some of the diseases that may affect the community as a whole. And currently we speak, we don't have water, we don't have roads in our communities. And meanwhile, we have large-scale mines. Most of the heavy trucks are moving on there, and the school children are suffering. Dust everywhere. And some of the explosives they do, we all experience so. So we plead that when you come to power, please let the community money get to us. Because all the Talensi or the APIs, they have been deblocked for large-scale mines. No space for the small-scale miners. And all the communities are now crying. Please, Your Excellency, we are pleading that when you get to office, or when you assume office, please let us experience the community money in Upper East and Talensi to be specific. Thank you very much, and we are most grateful.
Thank you very much. Market Women Association. Market Women Association. Please, Tiberium is also noise. Thank you. Tepoya.
Okay. 2 minutes. So, tomorrow ti sola wana la ti mama wana ti de ti fa ku binga nega balala to ti so hosa to ma tar sala ti yel bo ti sola de la lo on la ba ingle ligri so ti benema yina ha su ta wa pa wana ti benema so abira fa ola ga ti ko ba le ka robes be sina wa ti ati te kurba na 40 city zina wa ti ati ki kurba na 25 city zina otirisia tikayana kurba na 20 city gale ha ingaba yi ti bere mi zozo aha wa power ni na wa sunga aha wa power na ga ha wa power na aye lola fi ba boto ti ma mi ko ri mu kura ga mu kurba na 30 city ti bere mi zozo bu yi na ti tel be na ti dala baba dana tuma ti ma da power ti ka tar ga bara yo to mi kenge court wala na wum ti se Getting yala la la is a bottle. To benema hawa power na adisugri then leader say what I hear about Bila about for me be at tomorrow poe. Butapo andala tomorrow poe. Fourth level at tomorrow poe. Amada da pola. Bahadi ta dinala ba pukatara ti da poe ba. To benema sozo. Yina wasu ta kinga. Ga kinga tara ti da poe boy. To benema sozo ti poe ya.
Menu pahe Madam Bolko. Seli. ASU. The Assemblymen Association. No, I don't want to go quietly. That's what they are doing. Assemblymen Association.
Hello, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for giving us this wonderful opportunity as members of the Bolgatanga Municipal Assembly members elect. We are grateful that we have you this afternoon. As an assembly members, we need to show an appreciation already to your mindset of when you come to power, you'll be giving us some allowances. We appreciate that mindset of you. But again, we the Bolgatanga Municipal Assembly members think that by the grace of God, if you are given the mandate as a president of this republic, come 7th January 2025, we want you to set up a fund that will call Assembly Members Common Fund that will enable us to undertake certain minor development projects in our areas, in our electoral areas, because a lot is always demanding on us. If your community needs a footbridge, you have to fall on the assembly. If somebody needs simple school fees, maybe a common school fees to pay his or her school fees, it is always falling on the assembly member. They wake us early morning in the night or even midnight to ask for medical care. And look at our electorate here. Many of them are depending on us when it comes to passing out, Adore, everything. The demand are always on the assembly members to assist. We need a lot of resources to also undertake certain developmental projects. We the assembly members, we equally want to appreciate the effort of our late President, Professor John Atta Mills, for bringing in the idea of giving motorbikes to assembly members at the time. And it continues up to date. By giving us motorbikes, there's no fuel allowance as well as maintenance allowance. We expect that when you come to power, you should try to see whether you can get us maintenance allowance and fuel allowance as an assembly members. What we also want you to do if you become the president, and of which many of us have no doubt in our minds that you will be made the president come January 2025. We want you to also institute what we call fuel and maintenance allowance to assembly members, because the motorbikes are given to us, but many of us are not on the working class areas. Therefore, it becomes difficult for us to always get fuel allowance or to maintain the motorbikes that we are using to serve our electorate. So we are pleading, if you are able to get the nod, you should do that for us. Ex gratia. The ex gratia is an area that we have a challenge. We want you to, when you come to power, you should add that one to your plan. Because the ex gratia to assembly members is always left to the determination of various assemblies, of which the assemblies are not generating the same. So we want you to incorporate that one into your working plan, so that when assembly member ends his or her tenure, the ex gratia can be paid from the consultated fund equally across board in the country. What we also want is that if you are able to get the nod, you should get us medical allowance, medical care. We want medical care from your excellency. We want medical care from your we want medical care from you. So Ago. We have a lot of issues to talk here. We are the representative of our electorate. We are here as an elected members of the Bolgatanga Assembly. A lot need to be done. There are things that we think if His Excellency is able to do them for us, it will motivate us to do more to develop our municipality. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Ayazu, Assemblyman wants ex gratia. Ayazu. Okay, so we'll now hear from Beauticians Association and Weavers Association. Please, the two groups come up. We just want two people each. Very good. Brief, 2 minutes, we beg you.
Patience, Mazet Borala, Motan, Warba, and Boapa is Zawa, Sunua. Get me to Bel Nanerwo Bocala, get it about the saw in the present, Honorable Benija Mahama, yet I. Sol wadela tizawa bize kala la naduma illa nere wo imbo kala wa timamota worba inde seba iyeri nere wo tba bona zia wa poe get mate te bele te so jama mate atawa pawana te beni imizozo asungu timamota worba la yeli yerana dela baka sunguro tma banitara logoro bora nutu marma baka table songo tma dana babota to weaving looms la tere songo te kwamala la ba te kwamala munya bahara tumal me bakele zamre weaving la sele le pa de la motama wuka ko tekra la bolaka wa ma la ka pazi azia o sambira ankara sole za la ka bod national ha tbahampo yeti ba yinu tumarma motama wuka lampo pa harabini so te benemi zozo asandi about motama wuka dena sela ipa national tba lampo tera government ha tara sela ta sunu tumarma awayang la sunge motamarma terbihi komala sela le pa de la te materials la gunletre daara la ba maler bala China baka maler ba bolga ba soti beneme asan wa pawana asonge te ba yang tar factory wa Ghana na ko apa is sete to yang nyeta gunna tara songra te kwamala ko tara tuna te tomala te weaving tan tolenenga sele le pare la te meti te belme yet asan wa pawana ayang gele songe ti diki honorable Isaac Adongo umbo parliament le MP sabaza wa bosa zuwala bakele songe ti ba law parliament yet ayi se ti motamuka every Friday ko weekends wo nero yera motama bora to bala te wata ala nya to mala so te benemi zozo asongoto gele wono to me te benemi zozo mbarambala yes. So Zadana timamiti John Mahama po English celebrate mamota worba tila ponzo then 8 years intole weaving that lume amainga da anwa power na NDC da wa power na aradele ne seka enyang ye funa te bilia waba sando on pour amiti fuda bot ba yida te John Mahama fuo te nere wo mine fula da arayera asan lebe power na abata logro zawabe kelende na tama get ma weave mo promise yeti every month wo to ma release fu boy afuti awa yera la dasigi to ba lebe ka do mat bo te po ozozo
only 3 points for our dear father. Okay. Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association, especially the Upper East, were always behind. So what to cry to our father? Whenever there is a help or there is a need for somebody to go to outside, they don't call us. They don't even see the Upper East people to be a beauticians. They don't even recognize us. One, this one goes to my father, Isaac Adongo. It's today that I've seen him. And that is, I want to tell him, he should always come to our meeting grounds. Because we have voted him to go to power. And we like the party. It's not because of what NDC can do, but we like the party. That's why we have voted him to go and represent us. So whenever he comes, he should always visit us. He should visit the meeting ground to hear our problems. When he goes back, he can tell the president this our problems. And besides that, I want to finish our girls. When we graduate them, the graduation people. At the end of it all, they go back to Kumasi, Accra, to do Kayayo. There's no any help. There's no any help. So we are crying to our father to come into our aid and help us, the hairdressers. Thank you.
We would now like to hear from the settler communities. Please, settler community.
Thank you. It's good to have. Thank you for the organizers standing on the existing protocols. Mr. President, you are welcome. We are here as settlers in the region, making up of every group, then those from the Upper West and all. But I'm the secretary to the Ever community in the region. Mr. President, our first concern as settlers from Volta region and Upper West specifically, is that now, anytime we want to go back to our region, the road network linking this region is a very bad state. So we will be appealing to you, the Eastern Corridor and that of the one linking Upper West, if you can take a second look at it for us, so that at the end of the day, if we finish our work, we can return to our region and see our family and rejoice with them. Now, the other concerns we have, thank God, the MP has mentioned that already. I wouldn't like to go there. But the final thing I would like to leave with you, Mr. President, is more or less an advice. And I'll be very happy if this advice can take a bedrock of whatever you want to do. And what is that? It's just about love for our country. Everybody here will testify to the fact that what we are experiencing in the country today is as a result that our leadership don't love the country. And if you don't love the country, you can really not serve the people. Leadership should be aware that in serving the people or in the political class, they should know that they are to serve their citizenry. So if they don't love the country, they don't want to do things from their heart, and they want to grab everything, we will all be experiencing what we are experiencing today. So we'll play with you. When you come to power in 2025, we pray that you start with your leadership. Let them know that they are to serve and not to lord over their citizenry. Thank you, Mr. President.
Musicians Association. Okay. Your Excellency, I bring you warm greetings from the Fari Speaking Musicians Association of Ghana with the acronym FARIMA. This is a very noble group that has been hidden from you for a while now. Thank God you have discovered us today. This goes to confirm that you are really coming back with experience, not for experiment. And I want to, because of time, I just want to make a passionate appeal to you for some few things. We are traditional musicians. We comprise of traditional musicians and gospel musicians, as well as the secular musicians. The traditional musicians and gospel, our main problem is live band. We are live band performers. We are live performers. We are acoustic. We don't have those instruments. If you look at the whole of Upper East, we don't have a recreational center. We'll need something like an amphitheater. Then we'll get our live band instruments. It will support us in our business. The other aspect is the loans. We have been able to set up our own. We are not going to bother you for employment. So also assist us with the Maslow loans when you come to power, so that we can boost our music sector and also take care of ourselves and our families. Then the other aspect is whenever there's a national program in Upper East, we the indigenous musicians are always left out. They rather carry musicians from other regions to Bolga here, but we are also up to standard in Bolga. And our way of music is a form of transforming society. We don't just sing. We don't sing profane. We sing based on societal issues. So for that matter, we want you to give us your maximum support when you come to power, come 2025. And the other aspect is a Center for National Culture. Sometimes I don't know whether they even exist in Bolga or how do they relate with we the musicians. Sometimes the venues that we do programs here, even we the musicians, they rent it out for us at a high cost. And I think when you come to power, put some of we the musicians in some of those areas, because you can't put a doctor to come and take care of a musician when they don't know how to play konlogo. So I think this is what we'll be looking for when you come to power. Without much to waste, when you assume power, come 2025, we'll present to you a detailed proposal of our needs for you to tackle them in order of importance. Thank you. Naruma Mbola to Kalazina Tiba representative Yena Okuba Kuaboba Timitiba Manso Tingala Mala the man who let the boya Tison Naba Ipala Naba
Yawutanga, His Excellency, all those who are here, my fellow chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm here, I represent the Central House of Chiefs, that is Bolga Municipal, and I don't have much to say, but a little. My problem is we have enumerated a lot of issues that we want to develop or we intend to develop. And it is good. But can we do that when there is no peace? Peace is very essential. And for development to take place, there should be it. Bolga is very difficult. Such that as we are sitting as chiefs, how many are we? We are just few. Due to the inability to have those who have lost their parents put as chiefs. So what I'm trying to say is that, in fact, we are pleading with them that anytime they are coming here, they should make sure that there is peace, and they come with peace. A lot is happening within Bolga, which doesn't augur well for us, and we plead that this will be solved come 2025. In fact, we are not saying that others haven't done it or others cannot do it, but are they doing it? We are pleading that when you come, you see to all this so that Bolga can develop and develop as well with my good brother as Honorable MC. Thank you.
Ayazu, with all due apologies to those we invited who will not be given the opportunity to talk, please bear with us. We still have 30 more groups to talk, and we have a program at St. John Bosco's College of Education. We cannot in any way delay anymore. We beg you, please accept our apologies. The Garages Association, the Input Dealers Association, we plead with you and we apologize for all the mishap. Ayazu, Tibokala lati swalazu ampaneme. Tampa tiri yinta iskitoe. Moite zel kala lanzoe. Tiririki nupu kate. Lati toe. His Excellency, President John. Thank you. Thank you. Kindly sit down. Thank you very much. Let me thank all of you who have taken time to attend and all your representatives who have spoken on your behalf. This is one of the most comprehensive town hall meetings we've had. And I think this is one of the longest. You've had almost 16 different organizations represented. And I want to assure you that everything you've said has been captured, and we're going to go back to Accra and sift through, because some of the things that you have said are things that your colleagues in other regions have also said. So if it's teachers, some of the issues you've raised here are issues that teachers in, oh please, the Vuvuzela guys. If you want to blow your Vuvuzela, go outside. Are some of the things that people of your same profession have raised in other regions. And so we've captured everything. When we go, we'll sift through and then we'll take out what is important to be included into our manifesto. I cannot respond to everything that you've said, but I'll just go through quickly and I'll give some comments on some of them, and then after that we'll bring this to a close. The pastor from the local council of churches, he asked why prisons are in town. The prisons, most of the prisons were built in colonial times. And when they were built, they were not in town. But the town has grown to overtake the prisons. And so, when I was president, the prisons council that I set up came out with what they call Project Efiasi. And Project Efiasi was supposed to improve the welfare of prisoners, but also one of the key objectives was to develop new prisons outside, where they could have enough space for recreation, they could have prison farms so that they could grow food to feed themselves and all that kind of thing. So it's a project that I'll urge the new Prisons Council that will come into place when we come into office to take up, so that we can decongest the prisons that are in town. We will also improve the prison conditions in town so that we can hold remand prisoners there, because they normally have to be sent to court because their cases are being heard. But the long-term prisoners who have been convicted, we can take them out to the prisons camp so that they go and serve their sentences there. But we're going to introduce reforms in the system, so that it's not everything you must send a person to jail. I mean, if I steal a goat, really, I mean, you go and lock me up for 2 years or 3 years. Government will spend more than the cost of that goat to feed me for 3 years. And so we must change the sentencing regime. If I steal a goat, you can give me 2 weeks hard labor in Bolgatanga town. I'll desilt all the gutters, I'll sweep the street for 2 weeks. It will be a lesson for me. And the member of the local council of churches again spoke about the airport. And I think that I spoke about that this morning at the House of Chiefs. We acquired the land when we were in office. I personally went to inspect the land for the airport. But before we could develop it, we left office. There are efforts to start developing it, because there's a big corporate organization that has come that needs the airport to be able to fly directly from Accra here. And so we will encourage that they should go ahead. If we come into office, we will assist them to be able to build the airport quickly so that people can fly from here to Accra without having to drive all the way to Tamale. And then he talked about the health insurance. It's true, the health insurance has collapsed because government is not releasing the health insurance levy to the National Health Insurance Authority to pay the facilities for the claims that they are bringing. And one of the things they've also done is they passed the law they call the capping and realignment law.
And that capping and realignment law, they have capped all statutory funds. So when they start collecting the levy, as soon as it reaches the cap that they have placed on it, any extra levy that is paid by the Ghanaian population, instead of going to National Health Insurance Authority, it goes into the consolidated fund. And so NHIA is not able to acquire enough money to be able to pay the claims. When we come, we'll take the cap off, so that all the money Ghanaians pay as National Health Insurance levy will go to the National Health Insurance Authority to be able to pay the claims. I don't know what jinx is following the MPP administration, but anytime we try hard and we settle conflicts and we have peace, as soon as they come, those conflicts flare up again. When we were in office, we did a lot of work to settle the issues of the Boku conflict. By the time I left office, Boku was at peace, people were going about their work. It had become a busy commercial center. As soon as we left, I don't know what has happened. Boku has exploded again. It means that when we come, we have a lot of work to do. We have to get all the factions together, get them to lay down their arms, let's get them to start talking again, and let's bring peace to Boku. Because as long as there's no peace in Boku, there can't be peace in Upper East region. As long as there's no peace in Boku, there can't be peace in Ghana. If one part of your house is on fire, you cannot sit in another part and think it won't affect you. And so I can assure you, it will be a priority for us to make sure that Boku becomes peaceful again, so that the people there can go about their work. Boku is close to the border. It's an important commercial center. A lot of trade takes place between us and our neighboring countries. And so that will be a priority for us, I can assure you. Then he spoke about pilgrimage. This was raised in Eastern region when I went. There's a difference. The Muslims have what they call the 5 pillars of Islam. And the 5th pillar is to go to Hajj. So it's a central pillar of their faith that they must perform the pilgrimage. For us who are Christians, it's not obligatory. Because even we say that where 2 or others are gathered, there I am too. We believe that wherever a few of us gather to pray, Jesus comes amongst us. And so for us, it's not by force that we should go to Israel. But like I said, if you have the ability to do so and you go, it strengthens your faith. Because when you go, you see the holy places where the history about the birth of Jesus and everything happened. And you come back strengthened in your faith as a Christian. But aside from that, even on the issue of the pilgrimage, Christians, we don't agree. I remember when I became president, we talked about facilitating pilgrimages to Israel, and there was so much confusion. I said, look, I don't want to touch this issue again. So let's leave it as it is for now, until some consensus can be built around it. Infrastructure in the tertiary institutions. Unfortunately, that too has become a problem because of the same capping and realignment law. This government has capped the GET fund. So any money that is collected under the GET fund levy, when it reaches a certain cap, the rest of the money goes into the consolidated fund. So one of the things we'll do is we'll take the cap off, so that all the 2.5% GET fund levy goes to the GET fund, so that they can pay the contractors who are working on the projects in our tertiary institutions. Apart from that, there's something you people don't know. This government has taken the GET fund 7 years in advance. They have borrowed it under what they call a Dachi bond, and they have spent that money. And so when the money comes to the GET fund, almost 60% of that money goes to pay the Dachi bond. And that is one of the problems why the GET fund is starved of funds. And so my hope is that the Dachi bond will be part of the debt restructuring, so that I can free up the GET fund to receive money to pay the contractors who are working for the GET fund. The other things, conditions of service, and that's why I said somewhere, I said you can only share what you've created. If you don't create, can you share? You can't. Because if you don't create, you can't share. The economy is in crisis. And I still believe that we are not even being told the true state of the economy. They say when a frog dies, that's when you know its true length. I know that when this government dies and it leaves office, that is when we will know the true state of the economy. And I can assure you that that state of the economy is worse than they are telling us today. And that is why I said that we should all be measured in our expectations. We are all hoping that we'll be able to put the economy back on its feet so that all the things that we all have talked about, we can realize them. But one of the promises I've made is, as soon as I become president, we'll call a stakeholder meeting and we'll open the books to you and you'll see what the true state of the economy is, what the state of Ghana's finances are. And all of us will have to tighten our belts, including myself. And that's why I'm saying that I would lead a reduction in government expenditure. We'll reduce the number of ministers. We'll reduce the number of ministries. We will reduce the budget of the office of the president so that we can make savings. Even as we ask Ghanaians to tighten their belts, we ourselves will be tightening our belts. Today in Ghana, we have a situation where the president and his vice president are telling us to tighten our belts. Meanwhile, they are loosening their belts. The office of the president budget in 2016 was 700 million cedis. Last year, the office of the president budget was 1.7 billion cedis. 1.7 billion cedis. This year it has climbed to 2.4 billion cedis. So even as they are asking us to make sacrifices, they are increasing the budget of the office of the president. And so we will make the sacrifices that we are asking the people of Ghana to make. We are not going to ask you to make those sacrifices alone. We will provide digital infrastructure in all tertiary institutions. I believe that part of our national resources should be employed in providing Wi-Fi in our tertiary institutions so that our students and our lecturers can have the opportunity to be able to do their research work and prepare their notes. I think the next one is doctors in rural areas. That there should be some compensation for doctors who agree to serve in rural areas. I think so. I believe in that. And then he talked about the lack of infrastructure in hospitals, lack of equipment, shortage of staff, and several other things that bedevil the health sector. All the things you said, our doctor who came here has been captured by our sister Beatrice Annan in her laptop, and we shall compare it to what your other doctors have said, and we'll take something out of it. The presentation by the CSOs was a very interesting one, and I agree with much of what you said. I just want to assure you that the SADA document that you presented, we have a copy of it, and our manifesto committee has it. Indeed, it's part of the blueprint that we have for improving incomes in the savannah area of Ghana, that is the northern regions of Ghana. It includes irrigation so that we can do more farming. It includes introducing cash crops so that our farmers can earn more. It is part of what I was talking about in reintroducing cotton production and using the whole cotton value chain. So we'll produce the cotton, we'll build the factories so that the factories will produce the yarn, and when they produce the yarn, we will produce the grey baft, that's the foundation textiles, and then we can sell that to GTP, Akosombo Textiles, and all the other textile printing companies. If there's even the need, we can export some of it so that we can get some more money. And so that SADA document is with us, and we are working on it. It says cancel payments for forms for recruitment into the public sector. We'll capture that. Normally, it is used as internally generated funds for the institutions to supplement whatever budget is given to them. But if government is financing those institutions properly, there's no need for them to be taking that money off Ghanaians. Sometimes they advertise, I've heard about it before, they advertise, you know you are taking only 100 people, and you sell 2,000 forms, and at the end of it, 1,900 people are not going to be taken. But you collect their money, and then you say it's your internally generated funds. It sounds a bit like this to me. And so it's something we'll look at. Then they talked about market premiums. The work with market premiums was part of the single spine. We didn't finish work on that aspect of it before we left office. We were supposed to complete what we call a labor market survey. And the labor market survey will specify exactly which organizations or where there are shortages of labor. The market premium was being introduced to encourage more people to go into particular areas. And so areas where we have critical shortages of labor, we will give them a market premium so that people will be attracted to go there. Unfortunately, we didn't finish the labor market survey. And then apart from that, everybody said their sector was important. And so they all deserve market premium. And so it became difficult to know who to give market premium and who not to give it. And so I remember that interim market premiums were awarded for the work to be finished before we agree on what the level of market premiums should be. Unfortunately, we left office, and the MPP has been in office, and I don't know why Labour and them have not concluded this matter, and then you have left it for me to come and deal with this matter again. By now you should have sorted this thing out so that at least I can have some peace to concentrate on other matters. But if it is left, when we come, we'll sit together and we'll look at it and we'll decide and we'll move forward together. Car waivers were banned because people were misusing it. It was targeted to help specific professions to be able to acquire a car at affordable prices so that it will help you with your work. Nurses and doctors are called in the night to come and work. And you don't expect that they will come out and take public transportation. They could get knocked down, like you're saying, by a vehicle. They could be attacked by armed robbers and all that. And so we brought the car waiver so that you could be able to buy your car at an affordable price. Unfortunately, some people started to take money from car dealers, pretend that they are importing the car, and they get a commission from the car dealer and sell the car. And so if we can find a way where we guarantee that the car will really go to the person who needs it, I don't have any objection to us reintroducing the car waivers. So when we come, we'll sit and we'll discuss this. And if we can find a foolproof way to make sure that the waivers are not abused, we will reintroduce them. There are many other issues that were captured. The one who spoke for nurses said we should cut off nursing at the degree level. And so we should scrap the diploma and the certificate nursing. I'm not sure if we can do that. We still have some space for diploma and certificate nurses. Just that we must improve the standard that they come out with. Because there are some very remote rural areas, it's difficult to get a degree nurse to go and stay there and work. But the certificate and diploma nurses accept to go to those places. And so for now, we cannot make that cutoff. What I'll encourage is that we improve their quality as certificate and diploma nurses so that they give better treatment to the people. We should also make them upwardly mobile. So if you are a certificate nurse, we should give you a certain number of years to write the exam and move to diploma. And after a certain number of years, you must write and get entry as a degree nurse, so that there is self-improvement in the system as we go along. And I think that would address it. Dressmakers, much of what you said is captured by your colleagues in other places. Equipment, small loans, and so on and so forth. We also have the National Apprenticeship Program, which will register you, the masters, dressmakers, hairdressers, all the craftspeople will register you, and government will introduce what we call a National Apprenticeship Program. And under that program, those of you who are registered, you must have a decent place where you're doing your work. It doesn't mean if you're under some tree working, we'll send apprentices to you. You must have a decent place. Government will allocate every year some money for the National Apprenticeship Program. It will be administered through your district assemblies, but your organizations will be involved. So you know that this amount of money has come for the National Apprenticeship Program. And your executives, Dressmakers Executive, Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association Executive, indeed all those of you under the Council of Indigenous Business Associations, SIBA, you will work with the assemblies to see how that money is disbursed. And when we give you the money, we'll give you the apprentices, and you have to train them. And out of the money, you'll be giving them small chop money to be going home and coming back. It's not for you, the master, to chop alone. You have to give them T&T to be going and coming. Small scale miners. I think I spoke about this 2 days ago when I was in Eastern Region, because I went to one of the mining areas. We're going to open district mining offices in every district where there's mining. And we're going to bring Minerals Commission officers to man the district. We'll bring Environmental Protection Agency officers to man the district. We're going to bring mining engineers to be part of the district. And so there will be officers here who will supervise the mining sector. And so for small-scale miners, if you have a concession, we'll attach the mining engineers to you and show you how to do the mining. But there's a difference between small-scale mining concessions and artisanal mining. And so artisanal mining too is important. Where the big companies have taken a concession, they know where the bulk of the gold is. Some of the concession they really don't need, and they don't intend to mine there because the gold is of a lower grade, and so they don't want to invest in gold that is of a lower grade. We can rezone those places, and then all these are young boys who also want to do small and get some money with some one excavator and all that. We will rezone those places to them so that they also can get something to look after themselves. And after they have finished, the mining engineers will let them use their equipment and level the ground, and we will replant trees on the ground so that we can reforest the place. Dressmakers, we will decentralize the school uniforms. And so the school uniforms for children, our children, you, the local dressmakers, will give you the contracts, and then you sew the school uniforms in your district. Assembly members, I said I'll pay you allowances, and you have thanked me in advance, so it has committed me anyway. And so I want to say again, we'll pay you allowances. And the way we're going to pay you the allowances is that we're going to reduce the budget of the office of the president, and we'll use the money that we save to pay assembly members so that they also earn something to look after themselves. We've calculated it, and to pay all the 6,000 and something assembly members in this country for 1 year, we need 100 million cedis. The office of the president budget is 2.4 billion cedis. We can spare 100 cedis to pay assembly members. It shouldn't be a problem. And so we'll do that. Out of your allowance, we're going to create a provident fund so that a certain portion will be put aside as a provident fund. At the end of your 4 years of service, it will be an interest-bearing fund. So at the end of your 4 years of service, your money with the interest that it has accumulated will be given to you, so that if you don't win your election, you can go home in peace. If you win, you come back and continue your work. So it's going to be a provident fund, not ex gratia. It's provident. So your money will be paid in. You will get a statement. You know how much money you have, how much interest has come on it. After 4 years, you take your money. If it's 15,000 cedis, if it's 12,000 cedis, you take your money and then you go and do something with it. The rest, I've captured them. Weavers Association, they want equipment. Hairdressers, the same thing. Volta region, very good point. I was wondering what you people were going to talk about. But I talked about the Eastern Corridor Road. The Eastern Corridor Road is very important to the Upper East region, because it's one of the shortest ways of going down south. And so it's supposed to go from Kulungungu right through Nakwanduri, through Gushegu, through Yendi, and then it goes through Damanko, and then gets to Jasikai, and then down through Hohoi, and then to Peki, and then all the way to Tema. And so the Volta Region Association know that that's the fastest way to get back home for Hogbechocho and for Asogliyam Festival. And so you can be assured, we will work on that road and we'll finish it. Inshallah, before we leave office after 4 years, we would have finished the Eastern Corridor Road. And then they talked about love for country. I think that one of the problems we're having is that in these days, we don't catch the children young and teach them what love for country is. When we were young people, we had lessons on how to be a responsible citizen. And teachers had a period where they'll come and teach us your responsibilities as a citizen. They even taught us good manners, courtesy for boys and girls. That when you are sitting with elders, you must not be too noisy, and that when you are sitting in a crowd, don't let out bad gas. You know, when you are finished eating, don't belt. I mean, those kinds of things that are unmannerly. You know, they taught us as children. You know, and so how to even dress nicely, tuck in your shirt and look decent, make sure your clothes are clean. We were taught all these when we were in primary school. At least I was taught these. Unfortunately, in the new curriculum, when you ask them, where is responsible citizenship? Where is courtesy for boys and girls? They say, oh, it's in social studies. And it's lost in social studies. You can't find it anywhere. And so when we do a review of the curriculum, we have to look at how we can insert teaching our children our values. That they should not steal, they should be honest, they should tell the truth. We must teach them at that stage, because it says, teach the child the way it should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. We're not teaching them, but yes, we complain that they are not patriotic and they are not responsible. And so that's about all. Proper musicians, I've written down all the things you've said. You need a place where you can perform, you need help with equipment and all that. I know this region has produced a lot of well-known musicians, even internationally. And we recognize all of them, King Ayisoba and all of them. And so thank you very much. Traditional rulers talked about peace, and that peace is important for economic progress. So I thank you. We've got all that you said, and we will take action on them. Thank you very much.